Hello, everybody. How's it going today? We are in the Steve Jackson Game Studio for a paint stream. We got some Car Wars cars. I'm here today with Amy. She's going to be joining me. She's got Apollo here to paint up. We're still trying to decide if we're going to go Turbo Door crazy metallic style or because it's coming up in just a few weeks. We've also got some pinks and reds out. Might go Valentine's Day theme for this car.
Because every sweetheart needs a car to smash up.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing says Valentine's Day like vehicular carnage.
Absolutely.
And then over here, I have brought back this yellow and blue car that I was working on. I don't remember if it was the last time I was here or
it's been a
time
while.
before that, because I always come in, I start cars, I never finish them.
It's true. It's a fact.
So I was actually rooting around. I did one a very long time ago where I was actually like freehanding this little Cthulhu on the hood, and it's just gone. It's gone.
We've used that in games.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I remember it was floating around.
Never finished though.
Oh, I know.
But that's cool. So that's where now I know where it is. Now I know where it
That
was.
was never been finished.
Yeah, it was never.
Yeah.
It was finished enough for us to use it on the table, but Ben was like, "No, I need to have it for 3 more sessions."
And if you couldn't already tell, we've also got Hunter and Jimmy in the studio as
Hey,
well, off camera, to heckle and join in on the fun.
Yeah.
And we got Brandon as well.
Yo.
And just so everyone knows, I don't know if our stream has met Amy before, but Amy is our MIB control / retail coordinator / everything retailers
Slash
do it.
executive assistant.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
And you,
And so if you're a MIB or volunteer or anyone with us, then you've probably talked to her, even if you haven't met her in person. So, or if you've been to a convention, you've
I
probably
feel like
seen
you
her.
streamed something, like some Munchkin thing before.
Nope.
but
Nope,
not
she's never been
painting.
on our stream.
Never,
on our
ever.
stream. All right.
I didn't
well,
even know this room
This
existed.
is it. This used to be the production room. This
Yeah,
used to
Ben has
be-
always been in here.
Yep. This used to be where me and the other production artists brought the fantastic games to life.
So Ben today is representing people who know how to paint, and I'm representing everyone else. I've
Actually,
good.
you know
I
what?
mean, you can
She
use
says
some of
that. Flip to the side cam. Let's look at this. She's got some really cool cars here. These are from some that you brought down, right?
yeah. So I've been painting about a year. So I am representative of all the people at conventions when I'm showing games who look at the cars and are like, I can't paint this.
Those look great.
So I did those. I also have a set of 4 that are completely blank because you can still play with those. And a set of 4 that are just a base and a wash because they look good even like that. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think the important thing is just that you don't get much better than that, because as everybody who listens know, what I can't stand is people who started painting like way had I did and then they get better than me. That's just not the thing that I tolerate.
It's shocking nowadays, man. I swear I had a friend who had never done minis before. He's a card game guy, and I met him through card games and stuff. And one of the games we played was ending, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't know what I'm gonna play now." I'm like, "Well, you like Marvel stuff, so you want to play this miniatures game over here?" And he's like, "I don't know about painting, man. I don't want to do all that." And I was like, "You could play with my minis." And we played it a couple times, and he's like, "Oh, I like this game. I'm gonna try it." And he started painting. He's been painting like a year, but he's like, it's weird. He's so good. It was like
People are
he before he even watched anything, he was just he showed me his first mini. I'm like, "Oh, you like already paint better than me." That's sweet. And then he started like watching tutorials and stuff, and it's like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of like born to paint." I'm like, "That's cool. That's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. No big deal."
Yeah, that's like my brother. I kickstarted something that had a gazillion minis, and he's like, I need something to do. I've been watching these videos. Do you mind if, do you
Just
know
throw
of
some paint on
anything? So
stuff.
I'm like, well, I'm never going to paint these. So I gave him, I think it was Olive Rising Sun, the whole thing.
Oh yeah, those are great
wow,
minis.
Yeah, that's got some cool ones.
He just did them all,
Did
He's
you do
not
them
done
all?
yet,
but
but
they look great.
oh my God.
I will say at first it's like, oh my God, I hate this. But it's that same attitude I always had. I mean, back in the day, I think a lot of people had that same kind of impulse whenever you read like a hobby magazine or something like that. And they're like, oh, just do these 6 steps. It's like 6 steps and suddenly the last step is it's a heavy metal style miniature that looks shaded and stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Trim the miniature. Fine the miniature.
Yeah.
Let your base go down. Add some finishing touches.
It's the old but like it would discourage you. It'd be like, well, I just did these 6 steps and mine looks like garbage. And I think it's partially that, like, you'd feel bad that there's better painters than you in the world, but as long as you like are fine with your level of painting, like that's what I kind of came to, is just like I got to a certain level of painting Yeah, I get better occasionally. I pick up a new skill or something, but most of the time it's like, this is fine. I want to play with it. Like, because I want to play with my stuff. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah,
getting to the
that's
table.
that's the thing, right? We get so wrapped up in, oh, I want to play the game, but
Yeah. And
we
then
don't
it's
want
an
to bring
excuse
it
to
to the
not play the
table.
game.
Yeah, it's like,
I will say he's a great painter, but in the same way that Ben works on the same car for 10 streams, uh, I've finished a lot more minis this past year than he finished. I think he finished like 5 and I finished 20. So for that particular game that we both play.
wow. Well, I finished 4.
I mean, considering I went many years where I
see
would
4,
finish
yep.
none.
It
So
probably checks out.
Plus,
They're right there.
like I said, the 4 that just have a base and a wash, but
yeah, those
they're
count.
playable.
That counts. See, you got to count that stuff. Those are wins. We take those wins where we can get them.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling getting something to a point where you're like, this is good enough and I want to put it on a table. It feels nice.
Yes.
I'm sorry I took a shot at you there, Ben. It was too easy.
Understand. you know I finished painting stuff and I put it on the table. You've
I
seen
know.
it.
I know.
It happens.
I know. I've seen your
It's
stuff.
not a drill.
I'm going to play your stuff at some point.
Yeah, we need to play Legion soon.
Ooh.
And I do want to play.
I know. Yeah, I'm going to a tournament on
The
Sunday.
world is trying really hard to drag me into Marvel Crisis Protocol, but
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we could play, but you could play with my minis. Like I offer that to everyone. Ben
Trying
does,
to make
ben
me
does
look
not
like the
drop.
professional.
I
Is
drop
that it?
things so often while I'm painting. I don't know if anybody else does that. I will spend like hours creeping around under my table.
Oh
There's
yeah,
already a mess under there. Trying
That's-
to find that one arm.
So that's what I really love about these cars. They're all one piece. I know people have asked that in the past. Like, do you have to put them together? We did that Kickstarter where you can do individual weapons and stuff like that. But the base cars all come in one piece, and it's it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about it. One of my friends just got into miniatures, and he got his first set of miniatures. It's like a huge box of stuff, and he picked like the hardest Warhammer army to build, the Sisters of Battle.
Oh.
And he's dropping pieces. Like I was there with him for his first time on. We were doing a hangout this past weekend, and he's like, "Oh, I have to have glue for this stone." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Whoa.
Oh no!
Oh, that's, yeah.
So he had to go get super glue,
Yeah, that's one of the things.
and then he kept dropping like arms and legs and heads and stuff. It was rough.
Yeah, see, I got like one of those
I do
like
that all the time.
Necron starter sets.
Oh yeah.
The worst is when I do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It just seemed like one of the easier things to start painting.
It is. I think honestly, our Car Wars minis are probably one of the best intro to painting things
Yeah.
because it's solid. It's big solid areas, but there's still texture on everything.
Yes.
And they're all solid one piece. They're the easiest things to just pop out of the box and paint them, and they look cool.
Yeah, you
Because
don't.
they all have like that car. They have obviously Car Wars, but like that, it appeals to that Mad Max vibe in everybody. Everybody wants to paint like a battle car.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't prepared at first for you have to like cut all this apart and glue all this together,
Yeah,
and then you have to file this out, and then you have to like fill this part.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
really, it fascinates me that people, like how many people end up getting into that hobby regardless, because that first step, getting over that first step when you have to cut out all the little bits and glue them together, and then after you're finally done with that, then you can paint them. And then you like got to buy like sprue clippers probably if you want to be able to do it.
Yeah, you
with
kind
any
of take
kind
for
of
granted
speed,
when
and
you've
then
been
you
doing
gotta
it for
buy
so
some
long.
glue.
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's like the whole you need to like make them unique. So like my Stormcast Eternals have like branches for arms and stuff, and I was like, started painting that thing, and the whole thing fell off the base. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we start
So,
over with that.
I know that city because that's the one that I am planning to do someday, possibly, because I have a bunch of old dryads from when Wood Elves were a thing that you could do.
Nice.
What are those called? It's just the living city,
The
isn't
Sylvaneth is.
it? Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's the name of that army. But
I
I was
don't know.
thinking if you're given your Stormcast branches for arms, I was guessing they were living city.
Eh, I
No.
don't know.
No,
I don't know
okay.
how to play the game.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No. Don't. That'll come. Maybe if someday I have an army. Right now it's an
Okay.
army of.
That seems. I need to play too. I have a whole,
Two dragons.
I have a whole Swig army I almost finished painting, and then something distracted me. They never got done.
Well, again, that's the benefit of this. You just gotta pop it open, 4 cars, and you're on.
Well,
Even
yeah,
2
you
cars.
don't. They don't have to be painted. They don't have to be anything. They're just.
Mhm. Yep.
So I was trying to. a while back. I think it was when we were doing the first fantasy trip foes, and I got a whole bunch to paint, and they're 3D printed, so they are all in one piece, but that stuff can be kind of brittle. And one of the scimitars broke off of an orc, and I just couldn't find it. I was supposed, I was painting, it needed to be done for the Kickstarter. And I'm just looking all over the floor, and my sister-in-laws were over, and they're like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Like suddenly they're under the table too, like helping me try to hunt down this scimitar.
Togetherness.
Yeah, I always drop things, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like having models that don't fall apart easily because I drop everything too, and I have a cat, so she'll find it for me, just not always in the best way.
Or you find it, she has like a little treasure trove, like a lot of cats.
Well, yeah,
find
it's
those
like,
missing
what are you chewing on?
stone cast arms, little cat treasure trove.
What are you chewing on? Oh, well, I guess I'm not using that
Yeah.
piece for anything.
My cat's more of a barker. She'll barf on it.
Oh boy.
Very different problem.
I'm
But you
sorry.
can wash it off if you don't think it's just easier to buy it again.
Read this city, octopi tentacles. Do you have to be glued on if you're doing that?
Okay.
Foes.
Sure. Oh, by the way, Ben, fantasy foes. We just so for everyone knows, we're still working on changing the site and all that, but it's going to be a little. It's going to be. They're designed with the fan strip in mind, but we also wanted to make sure everyone knew that you could use them for any game, pretty much. So it's just called fantasy foes now.
Yeah, I mean, somebody needs to do a whole octopus rank and file army.
Oh, that would be
I don't
awesome.
care what game you play it with, whether it's
Star Wars Legion, it's
Well, you could
Warhammer. I don't
do-
care.
you could do. I mean, you could do. There's so many
Octopus Marines.
There's a wealth of minis agnostic fantasy systems. So you could do Oathmark or Kings of War,
Morkborg.
Morkborg. That's
Yeah.
RPG. I'm talking.
That works
I know,
too.
but you still
a
need
tabletop
minis.
army of
Yeah, I
octopus
suppose.
He just wants a lot of octopi.
Yes,
Well, in an RPG, you can just have an army coming against the
Sure.
people
that's true.
playing too. So
You can have a whole village or even a whole city inhabited with octopi.
Which is pretty much what the fantasy strip has.
Yeah,
I did want to
they're
mention
underwater,
while we were hanging out, for a lot of people have been asking about it over the holidays. Next Monday, Wiz War is hitting Kickstarter, so we actually have the project ready to. It's pretty much ready to launch, and we are getting ready for that. That's real excited about that. That'll be our stream next week as well. We'll be playing Wiz War, the 9th edition of Wiz War. It has been around for a while. Steve, this is a game where Steve was a huge fan of it. Like, and when he had the opportunity to get the rights, apparently it was just like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Because as he put it in the if you're part of our newsletter group, that's going to be going out tomorrow. He wrote a little bit about it, but I do recall when I was editing that it was he was like, this is a game that you can actually get me to play at a convention with him. So there you go, and he's going to a few conventions this year, so you can maybe get a game of Wiz War once that comes out.
I'm sure that'll be like something we raffle off probably.
They're actually going to be. Is it
Well, no, I
early?
guess because we don't do official conventions anymore, do we?
No, we
since
do.
COVID?
We do. We'll be
Well,
going we're going to Gamma this year. We'll be at Gen Con.
Oh, really?
Steve will be at a few things. I believe
Pensacon.
Pensacon, Nerdy Graw. He's
Yeah.
going.
Well, yeah, I was thinking if he's going on his own, then he gets to decide how. he
Yeah,
does
well,
it.
one of them. I don't know if it was Pensacon or Nerdy Graw. They're doing a charity raffle with something cool. I'm not going to spoil what it is yet because I don't know if they've announced it. But it's something. It's hobby related, and it's something that Steve has actually gotten to paint. Because Steve also paints. That's why we're doing a lot of
Oh,
minis and stuff.
I think I know what Hunter's talking about.
I don't want to spoil it. It may have
I
already been
don't.
announced. It may have already been announced, but I want to let the convention, have
No,
something
I just
cool.
feel special because lots of time. I mean, since we all work at home now, like I don't really know that much about what's happening outside of my own computer, but I think I know what Hunter's talking about this time. So he'll tease stuff sometimes. And I'm like, I don't. Could be anything, man. Could be anything. But this one, I think I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think that people will like that. It's kind of like getting something signed by Steve, but it's painted. I think it'll also be signed by Steve, but he's painted it as well, which is kind of cool. I think it's very unique. We haven't had a lot of stuff that's been painted by Steve.
Yeah. He's
So
been
that-
having a lot of fun painting these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That brings up another question that I actually have for you. Like in the art
I
world,
didn't do it.
I also paint watercolors. Not well, but I do that. And there's like this whole thing going on about whether you should sign and date your work. Do you sign and date your minis?
Nope. Sometimes actually, it's weird that you would bring that up because very recently something came up where I was like, I wish I'd signed that, and that was something I painted in college as like a mural. I found out it's still
Oh,
there
wow.
20 years later.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like I didn't sign that. if
No
I
one
want to be
knows.
like, hey, I did that. Nobody has anything.
I could be
but
like,
my
yeah,
word
okay,
to
so
go
did
on.
I. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Just visit and tag it.
Yeah. End up getting arrested.
For signing your
He
own
broke
work.
into the building and vandalized the kitchen mural.
He's been pulled away. It's mine. I did
Yep.
this.
I want it back.
But no, I don't know. It was always most of the people that I know that knew when I was in college for art didn't sign their work. It was just sort of like something old fashioned, and yeah, I don't know. So nobody really did,
Interesting.
and it never even occurred to me to sign a mini. But hey, you might want to.
Sign the base or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
sign the base.
Well, I actually have a piece that Vince Venturella
Oh, that's
painted.
cool.
And we were at Adepticon and he was there. So I'm like, can you sign this thing I have? He's like, sure.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense because he's a really notable painter, like to Ben's standards of painting too.
I didn't know that at the time,
I
but
don't know who this person is.
He's a Golden Demon winner type painter.
He's probably better than me.
He does. I mean, you could win a Golden Demon if you actually. Here's the thing.
I don't
everyone,
even know what that is.
So Golden
The-
Demon is a paint competition that Games Workshop does every year. It's
oh,
one of
okay.
many. They
Yeah,
do like
I guess I did. I've
the
seen
Golden
it.
Demon, there's
okay.
Crystal Brush. Or I don't know if Crystal Brush is still going on, but there's a lot of paint
We were
competitions.
doing that Adepticon last year when we were there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was all those cases they had up.
Yeah, there's some amazing stuff in there.
he's one of few Golden Demons, I want to say. The thing is, Ben is definitely good enough to win a Golden Demon. Like, factually, he's good enough.
Oh,
You
I
just have to
believe
put
it.
a certain amount of hours into a mini, and I don't know if Ben would want to do that, is the catch. It's like 100. To win a Golden Demon, you pretty much have to put in, like, 100 hours plus.
1,000
And
hours. I mean, it's
some people do. Like,
expenditure.
one of the ones that won this year was, like, a giant choking a kraken, like a giant, and it was like water effects and
that
stuff.
one was so cool. Yeah, I saw that.
And I
one
found
too.
out the thing that was always like when I kept seeing that mini, I'm like, man, because they did a resin pour, which if you've never done anything, it's like a resin pour is like you literally are pouring liquid resin to make a water effect look real, and it looks incredible. But like if you mess up a resin pour, it goes cloudy, or there's a jillion things that can go wrong with a resin pour, and I was like, oh, I just spent like 1,000 hours painting this, and then I ruined it with a resin pour.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how crazy is that? And then he was like, yeah, I had a contingency plan. I just had the legs separate from the feet. So if I ruined my mini, I would just cut off the top and keep the mini that I painted all that time, and just redo the base and the feet. I was like, that's genius.
So this is the same person. This is the same person you guys were talking about that painted this, or
No, this is a different guy, but it was just one of those Golden Demon things. Like that was like the high end of the hours that you have to spend. Yeah. Well, it's just like the amount of time that it takes to do those. Because Ben definitely can do it. It's just you have to spend so much time.
You really have to want to do it. Because there was one that was in there that was really cool. Just the lighting effects were just painted on.
Oh yeah.
That one was it was a little diorama. It's beautiful.
They have a lot of different categories and stuff. So it's like big figures, duels, and stuff like that. It's really cool. Ben, you won that painting competition locally, right? The Orktober one. It was great.
No, actually I didn't win.
No, you didn't win that one. You came in second in that one.
Well, no, they did like it was a conversion contest, a painting contest, and a best overall. And they didn't give me the best overall.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's a lie, but okay. they have mistaken you.
Well, this is gonna make me sound really egotistical, but I've found that like whenever you enter a painting contest, if it's not judged by like
high level painters and stuff,
people have a tendency to want to give the prize to something that's very novel.
Sure.
And so I think somebody had put like an orc head on like a giant mech suit, so that this thing was like a good like a foot tall orc. And so I think that was just like too crazy for them.
Sometimes
to
the
give
mini
up
just
on.
wins out over the paint jobs and stuff.
And I mean that's something that I've always dealt with. Like the very first painting contest I entered, I had what I thought was a really really well painted model and with a really awesome conversion. And that one, that was like a group vote, and somebody else had entered like a fairly well but not particularly great painted orc, but they'd like just taken his choppa and like replaced it with like a demon, like a bloodthirster axe. So
So
this
it's
orc had like an
humongous.
axe that was like twice the size of him. Everybody just thought that was the best. So like he literally that one won with like every vote because they're just like
Nice.
he has a big axe, dude.
I gotta be honest, Ben. Probably would have
Big-
voted for the big axe.
Right, exactly.
Why didn't you think of
Big
putting
axe
a
orc
bigger
for
axe on
president.
yours?
Well, it had a sword first of all.
Well, first off, you cut the sword off, give it a bigger
And
sword.
give it a big axe.
But yeah,
Give it
you gotta be ready for that
Cloud
stuff.
strike with that thing.
Yeah, do it. I've actually got. I picked up a lot of old minis, and it was the guy sold. He's like, there's these 3 minis that I converted. I'm not counting them towards the cost because they're conversions. And I looked at the conversions, and literally what he had done was kind of that. It was like it was like a 3-armed thing, and he had just replaced one of the arms with a bigger claw and the sword with a bigger sword. It was just like everything he converted was just like bigger. That was the conversion.
Nothing wrong with that.
People really get
What are you
excited
doing
about
when
that
you
stuff
can-
sometimes.
Yeah, I just make bigger swords. That's all my conversions. Everything's bigger swords. That thing's a car. It's like got a bigger sword now.
Yeah, well, you should always have a car with a giant axe on it.
Yeah, you gotta. We're gonna start gluing axes and swords to these Car Wars cars.
Seriously,
You need-
why
you need
isn't
the orc
there?
arm and the giant sword.
Off the side of Ben. We're gonna fix that car for you.
Yeah.
Those videos of like
Then why does that car not have a giant
the
axe?
birds that have like the arms drawn
The
on
big
them? Just have the cars with like arms glued on them.
They end up looking like Trogdor, but the car form.
Trog car.
Trog car. Burden 18. The Car Wars arena.
See, and here I'm thinking it's just a giant guitar.
Trogdor? Or
No,
the axe.
the axe.
The axe, right.
Sorry.
Like the old orc bard from the CCG. That takes me back.
That was my favorite character out of that set.
Yeah, everybody liked the orc bard.
What's that?
The Munchkin CCG.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Which car was it? What
The
car?
orc part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about giant guitars.
Yeah, that was an awesome.
We'll all get on the same page eventually.
Do we have any comments in chat, just so we know?
Yeah.
Give people a second.
This is start going back and forth about seeing Wiz War and then doing GURPS Wiz War and then TFT Wiz
Oh,
War. and then
Jesus.
Munchkin Wiz War. And then
No.
Wait, we
Guess
could-
what, guys? We're doing Wiz
We
War.
totally could do Munchkin Wiz War, though. Why don't we do Munchkin Wiz War?
we got to get Wiz War done first.
Ben, we have the game
That's
called Wiz
fair.
War to finish and release. I will say, I really, as someone who's, it's been a long time since I've played Wiz War, but my last one was the last edition. And we kind of
You
went
didn't
with
do
an
any
older school
playtesting?
vibe, and I like it. I played. I guess technically I played one game of playtesting too.
I've never played it.
I never have
it's cool.
either.
It's a really cool game. It's
Yeah, it's
essentially
pretty
so Wiz War's.
It's very light and fun.
Yeah, it's for an old like a game that's like when you hear something's been around 9 editions, it's like, oh boy, this could be weird. But it's really light and fun. It's essentially like a modular. You make a modular dungeon. There's like 9 dungeon tiles that are pretty big, and you put together this like arena, and you each control a different wizard, and you use like different spells and stuff to attack each other, and you're trying to get treasure and stuff. It's very like combative. If you like something like Car Wars, you'd like Wiz War. It's just on a board instead of like freeform movement.
Instead of
And it's
an
got
arena.
Phil Folio art. So the big difference, so the previous editions, they've gone back and forth. Used to it was tokens and stuff, then it was like stuff, then they did minis at one point, but that edition costs like a ton. Now we're doing standees with Phil Folio art, and each of the, like, it's all new, unique art, and each of the wizards looks really cool.
Ooh.
It's rad. It's really cool.
I saw some there when I was
I have
putting
a
together the
little
pages
piece of
for it.
that paper.
Yeah, it's good art. It's I mean,
Sorry.
what else do we expect from Phil? He does
Thank
great
you.
stuff, but yeah, it's like I said, it's a game Steve really likes. So, you know, there's a lot of love put into a new edition. He's played enough to know what he's also played multiple previous editions, so he knows what he wants to have in this one
knows
versus what he wants to leave, or
Like
what
the
you know,
best ones were,
additions
what
and
the
things
not
like that.
best ones were.
Exactly. because it's also gone through a lot of hands. It's not just been multiple editions. It's been multiple editions through like multiple
Publishers.
companies and publishers. Yeah. So it's
What
been.
year was the first one out?
Was it
The
in the
80s?
80s? I want to say early 80s.
Yeah, I've never played that one for sure.
Well, you'll get your chance.
I know. I
soon.
can't wait.
Yeah.
3.
83. I almost said 83. That's what I was
I've
thinking.
heard so many good things about it.
And it's cool.
so-
This one is like, I think in the it's the right size to take with you to a con, because it's a good convention game because it takes multiple players, and it's really take that, and it's the same size ish of like a Munchkin Deluxe box. So packs flat, really good. I like it. I like it quite a bit.
Sounds.
We'll be playing it next week on stream, so tune in. Actually, Steve's going to be opening it up right after this stream. We won't do it on a stream, but you'll see it on the Kickstarter.
You okay over there?
Yeah. Oh man, these days the lowest cough, everybody's gonna give you a sideways look.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I've been getting it.
Well, it's funny because
Yeah, I did that. I did the same thing to Hunter.
Yeah, literally, he
Just
walked
'cause
in,
he had a
and my
scratch.
voice is froggy because I
Yeah.
was sick for like pretty much a week.
forever.
But I just can't escape the frogginess in the throat nowadays. Now it's just like cool, because we also have a ton of cedar around here. and
yeah,
it's been
everybody
awful.
keeps talking about that. I'm from Wisconsin, so this is
No.
definitely not allergy season right now.
That's not a Texas accent.
Nope, not at all. So yeah, I was like all prepared. Had my Kleenex everywhere, and all it's done is dried out my eyes. It's weird.
That's fair.
Oh, once you're here eventually you're here long enough, the cedar gets to you.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, like that's what happened with me when I think I've mentioned this before, but I moved from around Houston area up to Austin in this area, and around Houston it's always so humid and stuff. I never had allergies, and then I moved up to around the Austin area, and it's much drier up here, and for years I would just get seasonal allergies, but I didn't know it was allergies because I'd never been allergic to anything. I was like, why do I keep getting colds and I keep getting sick? I don't get this. I didn't know what allergies were. I was just like, I don't understand. What have I done wrong? It's like, you haven't taken allergy medication is what you've done wrong.
That was an interesting thing about the whole COVID was as somebody who gets frequent colds, there was always a part of me that's like, oh, is it really a cold? Or you just have bad allergies today? And no, it was colds. I just get lots of little colds
Yeah.
because I don't get them as much.
Well, now
that
you
I'm
also
almost
you've
like
got a
way more
kid
than
now,
that.
so you're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
get
well,
more
as
and
soon
more
as he starts
colds.
going to daycare, yeah, he's
Exactly.
gonna bring home all the germs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just
That's-
wait till they're in school.
Yeah,
Ye-
my friend had a kid a little bit before you, but he's the same one that's just got mini painting, and they started daycare, and it's he's been getting sick pretty regularly.
Oh man.
They
didn't
bring
think about
home
that.
everything.
Yep.
He seems to have his mom's immune system now. She's the one with a good immune system. Because he hasn't ever really gotten much of a cold. And when I had COVID, he didn't get it, so
That's
good on
good.
him.
Yeah, I've had it 3 times. I don't need it anymore.
Yikes. Just the once here, and it wasn't that
Same.
bad.
But I had it before it was supposedly here.
Yeah.
I've often wondered if I might have had it because I had a really awful cold January 2019.
Mhm.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
a terrible one.
Yeah, one of my friends had one as well. Like it was like right at the beginning of January or right at the end of January, and she ended up having long COVID from that.
Mm.
And so they're like, "Oh yeah, you definitely got COVID." And it
And
was
Sarah had a friend. Sarah's my wife. She had a friend that she played soccer with who tested for COVID antibodies like really early into the whole thing, and he hadn't been sick since around I think it was like November 2019.
Mhm.
So he was like, "Yeah, I think I got it before everybody was really talking."
There's
about it."
there's a weird trend that happened, and it happens when cases rise. Is you can actually track it. There's a guy who was tracking it via bad reviews of restaurants. Because they would go on Google reviews and they would track it via like if there was a spike in reviews, in negative reviews, then they'd go and check the reviews and it would because the spikes in these negative reviews also ended up correlating with spikes in COVID and where they were doing it at
Oh, wow.
because people were losing their sense of taste. And a lot of reviews,
Oh.
because people were finding that there's a lot of
Weird.
reviews during 2020 and earlier in 2020 and stuff where people were like, this food, everyone says this food tastes great. It doesn't taste like anything. And they give it like a 1 star.
Aw.
It's
But then
like,
that
whoops,
restaurant went out of business, and then no one was laughing anymore. Hunter.
because of that 1 star review.
Oh, that's messed up.
That's rough.
The other one that they tracked was candles. When they would review candles and people
No,
couldn't
it
like
doesn't
smell them.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, there was because I would be online and people would be like, "Oh, it looks like we're gonna get another spike," because people were just posting reviews of like Yankee candles. It's like this doesn't smell like tropical sunrise. It smells like nothing to me.
So I used to sell Yankee candles. What does that even supposed to smell like?
Right.
It's like, okay,
I mean, I would just my brain goes to pina colada, but maybe that's not it.
who knows?
You did add coconut in there somewhere for like the sunscreen and the pina colada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just generic sea smell. I don't know.
Right, where are we at on your guys' card? What are you working on?
All right. Who are we doing first?
Well, mine's real exciting right now. I've got like a base coat.
Yeah, that is my wine red that I love. Right.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty.
That's the wine red that I love. Super saturated, dark red.
It needs
Um,
more, but it's pretty.
You don't like it on the holder?
Well,
I gotta have the holder. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's fine. Everybody paints differently. but-
I'm new at this, so
That's cool. Yeah. So this one's getting red. It's got some metal on it.
yeah, I'm getting the base coat of whatever silver
So we had this discussion a few sessions ago.
plate mail metal.
There's actually no rule that says the tires have to be black. So you could do pink tires, you could do green tires, orange tires,
I could.
or you can do that just black tires.
I picked out
Black.
matte black, but
That's fine. No, well, it's funny because like this came up because I was like one of the first things I realized when I was painting these was the windshield could be any color you want, even though there really aren't such things as green windshields.
I
You
had
could
green
totally do that,
windshields.
right? And you've done it too. And then they were like, yeah, and tires, and I was like, wow, I never even thought tires could be anything but black. Tires have to be black, don't they? And then sure enough, we got black tires on this guy.
I don't feel
Um,
bad about that then.
I realized they didn't have to be black, and then I painted them black.
Yep. And I probably will keep doing that. It just, I don't know.
It just seems right.
Yeah, maybe orange. I don't know. Well, I mean, part of it, you don't want to color them because they're just going to be getting all dirty anyway, right?
Yeah, and then part of that, you kind of want to, I don't know, we're in battle, right? Everybody's like done something to their car to add something to it.
Some
Yet
kind of
we
weird
pretend
flair.
like they haven't gone to the junkyard and got pieces and that these are all like super pretty, brand new, right off the showroom floor, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. We need to see some more paint jobs like that where it's like a car that looks like it's been cobbled together with like bits of different cars. Like this guy, Hunter, what is it, Sledge Avalanche? I think this is Avalanche.
Yeah,
That's not Pillbug. Pillbug's the other one that is kind of, this is Pillbug actually. It's the other like
Yeah.
long tanky looking one. But yeah, either of these could be a good candidate for like, try to make each different plate look like it's from some different source, salvaged from a junkyard.
Goblin's a good candidate for that too.
Yeah, Godwin's the one that really looks like he's made out of scrap for sure.
He's kind of like dune buggy-ish in feel.
Yeah,
That could
and
really lend
Jackal.
itself to-
Jackal I think was the one that I did like all just rusted to hell.
Jackal was
Or is Jackal the long one that's like looks
Jackal's
like a rocket
copper
car?
wire, isn't it?
No, that's Boomerang.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's like, okay, if you've ever seen Mad Max, those cars do not look like they're brand new right off the.
No. But this isn't Mad Max though, because these all
That
could
is
very
true.
well be factory
and they're
models.
electric.
Yeah, they're not.
They're-
They're
they're-
not hunting for the juice or
They're
whatever.
arena battlers, so they could be corporate sponsored. With
True.
their
hmm
Freshly printed.
But then shouldn't they have like ads on them?
They could.
They could,
Like
yeah.
NASCAR?
That's one of the things we're actually
Uncle
talking
Al.
about. That Irene was talking about making decals, for weird stuff like that. Because yeah, they could have corporate sponsors all over them.
I mean,
And then there would also be just ones that are just like, maybe like a family outfit, where it's just like a father and son working on their crazy dueling car. Because as long as you can get a car in the ring, you know,
It's all fair game.
It's there for Car Wars. Yep. I guess I'm still going back and forth between trying to clean up the metal and working on trying to clean up the yellow and working on these non-metallic metal guns I've been doing. I don't know, where's the right angle? Here we go. Just point it at the camera. Yeah, whenever I look at this, I'm looking at the screen to see where the car is in the shot, and since it's reversed, I always have a hard time figuring out how to hold it.
You should throw it.
No.
Before we went live, Ben continued his trend of hurling things by throwing his paint at his paint.
I've never hurled anything in my life. I'm not a hurler.
That's all he does is he wants to
This?
throw stuff. Yeah, there's a reason the blue splotch is a little more splotchy than the other ones.
Look, if you're trying to say that I was shaking a paint and accidentally let it slip out of my hand and it collided with the paint
in the
and
only
the wet
spot
palette,
that could have gotten.
that's just ridiculous.
I 100% think he did it on purpose to make me feel better about being here to paint.
Gene says the sleeker cars, make them a little more recognizable and more exotic looking. And most people who are going to do junkyard stuff are probably going to bondo it together and same it anyway.
Sure, yeah.
Wild colors.
Yeah.
And also, she just picked up a pack of laser printer decal paper, so
Nice.
decal your own stuff soon.
Yeah, I've been seeing that was what Ben was talking about, those decals that Irene was doing. She did some that same kind of like decal paper you can do at home.
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
Because if anybody wants to try that, there's a lot of steps to it.
It is, yeah. You gotta make sure the file you use is like spot on. And make sure you're using good quality decal paper because some of that stuff is too thick.
Is it something that you print on a printer or okay?
Yeah, there's two kinds. There's transparent and white backed. And the transparent you really can only use on like light colors. But then the white backed, well, it's white backed.
Yeah, it's white backed, so it's like you're gonna wanna have the white back, but
so you have to either cut it out super, super carefully or come back in and paint up to the edges of the thing. So whichever one you choose, they're not as cool as like actual
factory
made decals.
because they just have they can have more tolerances as far as the thinness of the paper and the type of inks are used. When you're doing it at home, your printer doesn't have the same level.
But they get to be whatever the hell you want. And that's
Exactly.
the cool part.
It's a trade-off.
It's always fun to have your things be custom. That's one of the fun things about painting it yourself.
Yeah.
It's,
I've definitely done some internet decals from some people.
so then if I want to have a special card for every holiday, I can have one. This is my Easter egg card.
Oh, this is the Easter egg card.
No, this is not. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You can do what you want.
Easter egg ram car.
Yep. Shell cracker.
But yeah, we should do more holiday cards. I can't believe that I didn't do a Christmas card.
Yeah, I
None
can't
of us
believe it
even
either.
thought to do a Christmas card.
I like how that story changed very quickly. That none of us thought to do it.
I did.
Did you think to, Hunter? Were we talking about that?
Maybe I did. Maybe I did, Ben. Maybe you just never asked me. I was
You
just
could've
waiting
brought it
for
up.
your holiday spirit to kick in and it never did.
You know I don't have holidays, but I don't even put up a Christmas tree.
You don't?
What?
No. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got a kid now. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a kid and a cat, that makes it a little bit rougher. But yeah,
No, my cat just hangs out underneath the tree now. It's great.
I was surprised. This was my first year with my new cat, and I was all prepared to not have a tree or have it
for Christmas tree mayhem.
have oranges all around it or something that they're afraid of or whatever. She didn't even look at it.
Yeah, ours doesn't like mess with it at all. He's big, so he'll hit the bottom of it just walking underneath it. So can't hang something super low, but he doesn't like jump at it or hit anything. He just kind of like sleeps underneath it, which is extremely cute. So it's like a
Aw.
benefit.
Yeah, she's afraid of it, I think. She gave it a wide berth.
Mine's got a sleeping area on the windowsill, which is behind where I usually put the tree, so it's usually like, this thing's in my way again. When's it moving?
Aw.
Ours took the so we had the tree skirt, and then once Christmas was over, it was still up for a while. So he kept sleeping on the tree skirt, but he kind of wanted the sun, so he kept like slowly dragging the tree skirt away from the tree to where it was like there was a tree, and there was like this long stretch of tree skirt that like went in front of the door where the sun came through. He's just like laid in front of the side door, just like on his little
so-
makeshift bed, and our tree is like got this thing just dragged out from underneath. But it's
Aw.
still like
That cracked
connected.
me up. Ours has never done any weird little quirky thing like that.
My cat's just weird. She doesn't do most cat things. Like boxes, bags, not interested.
That is weird.
Little like fuzzy mice, nope. Her favorite toy is a bunch of plastic springs.
Hmm.
It's like, what is that?
I can see that maybe, but the no boxes, I've never heard of a cat like that before.
Yep.
That is weird.
She's weird.
Because see, everybody says their cat's weird, and then usually it's not that weird. But no boxes, that is weird. That's a legit weird cat thing.
Like she follows
You're
me
not
around the
kidding.
house like a dog.
That's kind of weird, but I've known cats that do that.
Yeah, mine does that too.
But
That's
it doesn't
atypical.
yeah, it doesn't like to be like it won't sit on my lap or anything.
It took ours a long time to become a lap cat. He was when we had two cats, especially one of them was the lap cat. And he was not. He was like the aloof one that would always sit off to the on a mat or just like away from you.
Oh no, she doesn't do that either. She'll sit next to you. She just won't
Oh, that's
sit on
cute.
you ever.
Now ours became more. Once our other cat passed away, he was just like, oh, I guess I'll just be a lap cat now. I'm getting old. You're warm. I'm getting old and you're warm. So here we go.
Ours was a lap cat when she was a kitten, but then once she got older, she stopped, and it was many, many years before she ever got on a lap again.
Yeah, that's the adventure phase, Ben.
Yep.
Your lap's not exciting.
Yep.
So what are your cat's names?
I just have Sparks.
Sparks.
Just one.
Ours is technically named Oreo, but we did not name her that, so we just call her Kitty. So
Aw.
we've never given her a new name.
Mine is Cheesy Potato.
That's cute.
Cheesy Potato. Do you always call her Cheesy Potato? You call her Chi-Chi,
Sometimes
don't
she
you?
gets cheapy,
Sheepy.
cheese, hey stupid.
Cheesy Poo.
I think we've all had that name for our cats at one point.
Yeah. And then I have fish. They don't come when they're called either.
Every cat's secret name is.
Yep.
Unless she doesn't come to that either.
What?
There was
Really?
a
I've never heard that.
there
One thing
there
I
was
get
that
every cat.
announcement recently. The Dallas Zoo had an escaped leopard
Oh yeah.
for like about an hour. It wasn't out for long, but they were just doing the rounds, and they're like, huh, there's supposed to be a leopard in this cage, and there's definitely not one. And they were like, okay, everyone leave the zoo. We think it's nearby, but just get out of here just in case. And all the replies to the tweet were just like, has anyone tried going pss, 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 around the counter enclosure?
And somebody else was like, just put in a bunch of boxes.
Really though, they put out, it was like a blue warning, which is essentially a non-dangerous animal is out. It's a leopard, but it was
Yeah.
like a leopard. It was like
a 20-pound
a blue leopard or snow leopard. And it was just like
Clouded
a
leopard.
cat, essentially just a big cat.
Yep.
And they were like, it's probably just hiding in a bush really close by, thinking it's really being slick. And then it turns out they're like, we found it. It was hiding in a bush right next to the enclosure. It just was really being slick.
Yeah.
Probably would have come home when I got hungry, just like any cat.
That's essentially what happened. They just were like, okay, come on, man. You don't need to be in this. Come on. You have bushes in the enclosure. You don't need this bush specifically.
Oh, come on. We all know that's not true.
This is the one where I'm not supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
It's like, no, but this is the one I like. It's the one I keep looking at.
Yeah. You can sit anywhere in the house that you want, except on my bed.
Well, that's not going to work for me.
That
Just
is-
because it sits on
yeah.
your bed.
That is the only place that I ever want to sit now.
I
And you
would
know,
say-
reverse psychology doesn't work on them.
My cat's really good about like not messing with, like, it's kind of funny. He's huge. My cat is enormous. Like, he's not fat. He's just like all muscle, and he's a very big cat. And he thinks he's a lot more he takes up less space than he does. So he'll walk on the board when you're like playing board games or something like that, but he'll specifically like avoid pieces and think he's like doing a really good job, and he's not. And he doesn't bother me while I'm painting as far as like getting on my bench or anything like that. But his hair, he's such a long hair cat that every time I take a picture of a mini or something to put on Instagram, I'll look at the mini, I'll start doing editing on it, and I'm like, wow, there's a cat hair like right there.
Yep.
And I already
I
took
get
the picture,
those all the
and
time,
I'm just
too.
like, ignore hair, please.
See, that's another thing my cat doesn't do. She doesn't jump on tables or counters or nothing.
He just jumps on like the couch, and he finds new places to sleep. That's his like hobby, is finding like, because
Finding new places.
my
to
wife just
sleep
wants
is
him
all.
on her lap. She's like, come sit on my lap, and he's always like, you know what? I found a brand new place to call home. For a while, it was like there was a comforter that had been washed and it was sitting on a chair, and it was like, he made it his home. And she's like, well, I can't do anything with this now. I'm like, don't worry. In about 15 days, he's going to decide that he doesn't want to sit there ever again. And she's like, no, he'll sit there forever. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then like 15 days later, never sat there again for the rest of his life. So she probably had to take the comforter away.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah. The one thing I learned about having fish is you can say no 300 times, but the minute you say yes, you have fish.
Yep.
They're cute though. I got little baby fish. They're baby guppies. So they're like, I don't know. They were a 1/4 inch maybe when I got them because they were my son's baby fish.
Ah, that's cute.
They're really cute.
I'm
Bad
not
luck with fish.
yeah, same. I'm not a fish guy because I don't like doing the aquarium cleanup. Because as a kid, I had fish. We had lots of pets as a kid because my mom was a vet. So like, veterinarian, and she like, we took in lots of animals, and I hated cleaning the fish tanks. I did when I was I guess not in college, but just out of college. I had an axolotl. Little pink dudes with little.
Yeah, with the
They're
little
they are
frilly
so
gills.
cute.
They're super popular now. All everybody wants to talk about is axolotls because they put them in Minecraft.
Yeah.
So suddenly everybody learned what axolotls
No,
were.
mine was. I think Minecraft was out, but they weren't in Minecraft. But I don't know. But
Right,
Yeah,
I think
my
they got
daughter
put in pretty
wants
recently.
one.
yeah, his name was Axel, and he was very cute. He
I had one
had a
of those too.
permanent smile because they just like come up
Yeah.
to
They're
like.
so cute. Yeah.
I had one of those too. I think I was like 8 maybe. I like discovered them at the fish store, and
They're super cute.
my parents agreed that I could get one for my birthday, and they actually got the whole tank and everything set up. But I don't know. He didn't live so long. I can't
Aw.
recall.
Mine lived for a while. He was a rescue. Like he was in like a school thing,
Oh.
and they couldn't keep it or something.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
he
that's
was the
problem
runt
with
of a
those
litter.
animals.
They essentially had a birth of axolotl somehow,
Oh,
and
that
he
is
was the
unusual.
smallest, sickly one.
Hmm.
Anytime an animal is the smallest, sickly one, I end
Yeah.
up with that animal.
Well, those usually aren't meant to live. There's
Well, he stayed around for a
like
while.
biologically, runts. They
it's
almost
true.
never survive. They're like this weird. I think they're like some kind of weird form of biological insurance where like, if like the non-runt dies early, then like they sort of blossom and then they can like live a full life. But if the whole brood lives, then
They're
the
the
runt almost
spare.
never lives in the long run. It's like weird.
Aw.
It's some like biological process.
Well, Sparks was a runt, and he's a
But I'm not
gigantic
a
monster
scientist.
now. So he was I found he was a stray. I was back at my
A
dad's
stray
house.
axolotl?
No,
No,
my
Oh,
my
your
cat.
cat.
My
We're
cat
back
is.
to the cat. Okay.
No, he was
sorry.
I was gonna say he was a runt.
Like,
Like-
where do you find a stray axolotl?
He
was
was
wondering the
outside my
same
house, and I
thing.
was just
Florida,
like stray.
among other
I mean,
things.
to be fair, that axolotl was as close to a stray as you could get. He was like a cast off from a classroom essentially. So,
Yeah.
And
My kid's school, one of the teachers used to always bring in eggs and they'd hatch eggs, chicken eggs.
Oh,
I had-
little
yeah.
chickens that needed homes, or did you
Yep.
just eat them?
Well, let's just say one family or another, usually a farm family would take all the chicks then.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a dwarf hamster during that same time I had the axolotl, and she was not very. She was pretty mean, yeah. But they brought him to the school, and this dad who brought him in, and he was like a real country guy, and he was like, if anybody wants these hamsters, they can have them. Any of them that don't get taken, I'm gonna use for catfish bait. So everyone was taking dwarf
Oh,
hamsters, and there was only one left. It was the mom of all the dwarf hamster babies. So I took that one.
Sarah and I ended up with a little family of mice that sort of in the same way. They were just like out on the floor at a PetSmart, and they were like free for adoption.
If not this, they're going to be food for.
Right, and
Snakes.
that's why Sarah ended up making us bring them home, because she was like, they're going to be snake food. Somebody's going to say, yes, I will adopt them into my python's belly. So
Yep.
yeah, we ended up with a family of mice for a little while, and they didn't live very long. But mice
Don't live
you
very
know?
long.
We
I
had
had
them for
mice when
about
I
6
was.
months, and if somebody else had them for a year, that is very often their lifespan.
Yeah, I had a group of mice as a kid. I had them for like. This is gonna sound bad. It was a science project, but it wasn't like I wasn't experimenting on mice. It was just like they were. It was just like it was one of those like
Frankenmouse.
trifold science project levels
Oh,
of
yeah,
things where
yeah.
it's like how do mice interact kind of, and they were fine. And then at one point, one of them started murdering the rest of them, and it was like I had to put at the end of the science project. I'm like, it was not fine. It went bad actually.
Get Morgan Freeman to voice over the.
I named one of them Pharaoh, and he took it seriously. He
Thought he
like
was the God King.
he was. I would wake up, and one of them would just be like buried, like murdered and buried, and
Oh my-
Pharaoh's just in the corner, like, who could have done that? I'm like, there's only two of you, and the other one's horrified of you, so I think it's you, man.
Oh my
She
gosh.
says she got a transgenic mutant axolotl recently.
Ooh,
Okay,
So,
mutated how?
Leucistic UV glowing gene, permanent smile,
yeah, permanent smile. Permanent smile is so cute.
and glowing UV glowing.
That's pretty cute too.
Wow.
His name's Fringy.
So this
Oh,
is
that's
like,
cute.
I guess this is like how they
I was
do
very
with the-
unoriginal with my pet names at our point. Axel was my axolotl. Gimli was my dwarf hamster.
Aw.
I adopted my cat. His name at the shelter was Guinness,
Oh,
like the beer.
yeah, it's a good name.
And yeah, that's good. I don't.
I like naming my own
Well,
animals.
that's
Those
how,
names are
I
a
wound up
popular
with
pet
cheesy
naming.
potato. I mean,
But since we actually adopted him on May the 4th, so the full name is Sir Alec Guinness.
That's cute. That's really cute. The other cat I had with Sparks was his. We didn't name him. His name was Stinky, because the previous owner found him in a dumpster,
Aw.
and so he was. He wasn't. He did not smell, but he was named Stinky. I couldn't like erase that name from my head. But as soon as Errol met him, and I'm like, that's Stinky. She's like, I am not calling him Stinky. So she started calling him Spooky instead. I'm like, that's a much better name actually. It's very
yeah.
cute.
Is he spooky in any way?
He's a black cat with yellow eyes. So
Oh, a little
I had a
spooky.
black cat.
we had like Halloween cats because Sparks is orange and Stinky was Spooky was black.
Yeah, my black cat was born on Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's cute.
So his name was Friday. That
a
thing
good
was a
one.
menace.
Yes, Stinky was like, he would eat trash. Like he was a menace. He was. We loved him, but my God, that cat.
Yeah. Well, this thing ate everything in the neighborhood.
Lots of times when you bring a pet in like that, they will just eat whatever they can, because that's how they. Like,
Yeah, but he
before they
had
were
been
adopted.
domestic. He was old at that point. Like he wasn't like. He had
But
been.
I mean, it's still like that.
I
They
know, it's
learn early.
instilled.
It's hard for them to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got him when he was like fully a cat. When I got Sparks, he was literally he could fit in the palm of my hand. He was so
Aw,
tiny.
Yeah.
His little bobblehead, he couldn't stay up very well. His head was like 50% of his body mass.
I think
Aw.
Oreo was about 3 months old, and we think somebody dumped her right in front of our house because there were no other cats around her age. There was no obvious mom, but she was that like scraggly adolescent cat age
Yeah,
where they
mine,
just sort of look gangly and awkward.
mine was
Not
a
cute
year
kitten,
old.
not an adult cat yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a good chunk away to our time. What are we looking at on the cards?
Oh, yeah.
Put
Well,
them on the turntable for a quick look for a few
Yeah.
minutes.
And just take into account, Ben has already. This is a car that Ben has been working
Yeah,
on for
like-
a while.
mine.
Oh yeah, we can take those cars off.
We'll just
I'll-
add it.
I'll hop up there.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, do we not have a camera up there already?
Yeah, we do.
Should we go to a top
Oh, we
shot?
do.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna spend until the next stream trying to figure out
Oh, there we
uh,
go. That works too.
what little thing I want to freehand onto the hood. Something
Nice.
weird. Not like a flame or a skull. 'cause
So this
that's
gives you a
too
good example of like, so we've been streaming for about an hour now. getting maybe a little less at this point.
Right at.
Right at, and you can get a lot. I mean, really, Amy's car is like pretty much paint the tires. You've got a few details if you want to do those, and you're table ready at that point, right?
Well, sure. I mean, you could play with it, right?
Yeah.
It's
At that
playable.
point, it's like table ready.
Yeah.
And then you go a couple steps farther, and you're like just adding more depth, more shading, stuff
Yeah.
like that. With bins, obviously, he's taken the bin approach. So this is like a thing that he's been working on for a while. But it's another way you could do it. Like if you just, and it's
Well,
I think
the last stream and then all of this.
it's also more doable with Car Wars. I'd say within other games, because in Car Wars you really just need that one car you like. So
Yeah.
if you want to spend all that time on that one car, sure, you know.
You don't need to get 37 of these guys
Exactly.
fielded by
Yeah.
Saturday.
No.
If you have a car that you like, bam, there's your car.
See, that was my green car. I took a lot of time on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I got started, I'm like, it's been a while. I'm going to start on a car I don't like.
That's fair.
And then,
I kind of did that with that. That
you
I
like?
ended up liking what it looked like, but that Jackal, I think it is, or whichever one.
This
it looks
is
like
Jackal.
Batmobile. Yeah, that's the one I painted.
Okay.
That's the
thinking of
one of
somebody
the
else's
turbo door.
Jackal.
It came out pretty well, but it was like a quick paint scheme, like red and blue and silver and black. And
Doesn't it? Looks
Yeah.
so much like the Batmobile. How did I never notice that before?
Here, let's put it on the turntable.
oh no,
'cause nobody else
they've
knows.
already seen that car. They're good. We don't need to throw that one up there. That's just now it's set decoration.
now that Hunter doesn't want it up there, we should definitely put it up there.
Right.
Here we go.
Oh my
Right.
god, it's just it's simple.
If there's someone new, they've not seen it.
Sure,
Not
okay.
that big of a deal.
And again, that's just one that had turbo door paint and some red, some silver, bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah.
It took like 2 or 3 hours, maybe.
That is a nice thing because you can. They're good for beginners. They're good for Ben.
Yeah, and we'll have another hobby stream coming up. Might do a Fantasy Foes one, because Fantasy Foes 2 is being worked on. Ben, you've been working on that one
Yeah.
a lot. Have painted some stuff. We don't want to show that stuff off just yet, because those would be really cool to show off during the campaign.
We showed some though.
We have showed a few.
rats
There's been some
and-
images and stuff. We had the
What else
rats.
did we bring?
But you have some like already stuff that y'all been painting this entire time. I
Yeah.
know they're taking pictures of it right now, so
Steve has it.
yep, I'm excited for that. So well, as that project gets closer, you guys will probably see some more of that. But yeah, we'll have probably been back for another hobby stream pretty soon, and next week we'll be working on Wiz War, we'll be playing Wiz War.
Well, if you get me back before the 14th, we could do Valentine's themed something or
Yeah.
figure out how to make it.
That's fine.
Do it pink and red and purple. And, well, not purple. Maybe
Why purple's Valentine's Day?
Purple's
pink,
Valentine's.
pink, red, and white. Those are the traditional three.
Purple, I'd say purple fits in.
Yep.
You get some
Lilac.
purple in there, so.
Anything that's in, well, I guess not anything, because the Sweethearts have green in there too, but that's specifically that. We'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. You could if you did those colors with like a matte finish, it would look like the Sweethearts.
Oh, that would be really cool. And then you could put a little heart on
Like
it.
a candy themed car.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing foes though, so. it'd be-
Ben has realized he doesn't like the Sweethearts. I don't like
Does everyone
Sweethearts either.
know?
They're so gross.
Yeah.
But they're so iconic, but they're so gross.
It's funny. Those were, I guess it's not coincidence because Valentine's Day is coming up. But before I left, Sarah was showing me a meme. The Sweethearts was like, all our classic flavors are back. Wallpaper paste.
Well,
Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pepto Bismol.
speaking of Valentine's, I did forget to give y'all a link for this, but pre-orders for the flower playmat just went up for the Valentine's Day playmat. We actually found a bunch of stock of that one.
Oh, the
And those
Mexican
have, the Munchkin Flower Valentine's
wow,
playmat
cool.
that hasn't been available in a long time. So we have a number of those on Warehouse 23 right now. And if you want something cool for Valentine's Day, also the candy heart dice, I believe, are still
I
available.
love those dice.
They did that same
Those
thing.
are cool.
Yeah, because they made them.
Even, you
they
don't
like
have to
matte.
eat them, so they're nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have that. They have that
roll
matte finish to them. They look just like sweet tarts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
Those are fun.
Like that weird powder, whatever that goes on them,
Mhm,
flour.
And you don't have to taste them, like Ben said. They
Probably cornstarch.
Oh, fair.
It's
Great.
always cornstarch.
super tasty cornstarch, just the thing that all kids want.
Yeah.
I don't
Cornstarch.
Remember
Cool.
those candy cigarettes? I think those were made out
Same
of corn
thing. Super gross.
sugar.
The dice
Jimmy,
probably tastes better than the real thing.
that's true. So yeah, that's
We do
our.
not condone consuming our dice.
No,
No,
please
no,
don't.
Please don't. No tasting.
But also probably yes.
Jimmy, any other questions in chat? Cool. Well,
Some discussion of pets and how those things taste like plaster.
yeah. I mean, that's what our hobby streams are. It's just hanging out and painting. That's
Yeah.
what we want y'all to
Looking
hang out and
forward
paint
to
with us. It's
the
a very
details
laid back.
from the
Yes.
project.
Yep. Really pumped for that.
I was writing the README part of it anyway before I came over.
They're getting
Here.
worked on. So Ben's working on it. If you want to figure out where they're at, bug him specifically.
No, Gene.
His email, his phone number is.
His home
Fine,
address.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week with Wiz War. We'll do another hobby stream. It sounds like Ben wants to do one for Valentine's Day. I think we could do that. That'd be a fun one. We haven't done a hobby stream for a holiday yet, so that'd be awesome. We should start doing
I
that
wanna
more
make a
often.
special Valentine's for you, Hunter.
That sounds like almost vaguely threatening.
Vaguely.
I've got
It's just my deep, flat voice. that
Yeah,
makes it
I've got a
sound-
special Valentine's for you, Ben.
No, I'm serious. Our friendship means a lot to me. I want to make you something nice that you'll appreciate.
Almost going Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
To make you something nice. and fun type of day.
Oh, at least it's better than I want to make you into something nice.
True. But yeah, guys, we'll be back. We've got those pre-orders up. Keep an eye out for that Wiz War Kickstarter that will be launching on Monday. We're really excited for that one, and you guys are gonna get to see it live next week. We'll play some Wiz War, show you guys how it works. You can check that out. Amy, thanks for joining us today. It's awesome
Hey,
to
it
have
was
you in the
fun.
office. Good to have a fresh face on here. I don't have to just stare at Ben and Jimmy and Brandon
You
all day.
love staring at me.
That's
Love
true.
it. You look forward to this. Is your favorite day of the month.
Oh, dang, he's right. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time on SJGames Live.
All right. So long, everybody.
Bye.
Keep painting. Stay
Yeah.
awesome. All that stuff.